Most men chase love, few test it, but there's one move that strips away all illusions, revealing exactly who she is. Not who she pretends to be. Not who you wish she was. This move, it'll either show you a queen or expose a fraud. Most men don't realize the truth until they've lost everything. Until the money's gone, the confidence is shaken, the attention isn't flowing outward but turned inward in survival mode. And in that quiet, in that uncomfortable stillness, you finally see the woman for who she really is. Not the curated version she presented when everything was easy, but the unfiltered, raw reality that only hardship reveals. The truth is, how she treats you when you have nothing will always reveal everything. It's not about how loud she cheers when you're winning. It's about whether she's still there when no one else is. Because most women don't love you. They love the way you make them feel. They love the attention, the elevation, the social validation, the proximity to your energy, your drive, your focus. But when those things disappear, even temporarily, the illusion shatters. You stop being her dopamine hit, and suddenly, her loyalty becomes conditional, her presence transactional. She starts pulling away. She becomes impatient with your silence. Your distance becomes a problem. And she forgets that once she called you her everything. But she never meant you. She meant what came with you. She meant what you represented. You were her emotional high, her source of attention, her personal validation machine. And once that stops, she looks elsewhere. You're left wondering how someone who promised forever evaporated when the benefits ran dry. That's not a transformation. That's exposure. Real loyalty, real character, doesn't show up when things are comfortable. It reveals itself when things are hard, when you've got nothing left to give. When your energy is focused on healing, not pleasing. When you go quiet because you're grinding in the dark. When you stop showing up for her emotional fix and start showing up for yourself. That's when the masks fall off. That's when her real self shows up. Or disappears. See, there's a dangerous assumption most men make. She stayed when I was on top, so she'll ride when I fall. False. She stayed for the perks. She stayed for the attention, the lifestyle, the spotlight. But take all that away, cut the noise, and the silence becomes a truth serum. Suddenly, she doesn't know how to act. She questions everything. Not because you changed, but because she was never in it for you to begin with. And it's not always malicious. It's often subconscious. We're conditioned to love comfort, conditioned to chase highs, conditioned to believe love is about being constantly fed emotionally. But true connection doesn't flinch when the feast turns into a famine. It stands firm, it holds space, it doesn't panic in your stillness, it respects it. And most men never test for that. Most men never create the environment where the truth can show itself. Here's the move that reveals it all. Pull back. Not as a game, not as manipulation, but as clarity. Withdraw the excess attention. Stop giving her your energy like it's endless. Take the validation off autopilot. Turn your focus inward. Start pouring into yourself. And then, observe. What does she do? Does she lean in? Does she check in, offer support, give without asking? Or does she pull away? Get passive-aggressive, ghost you emotionally or physically? That reaction, that is your answer. That's who she is when it matters. Because love without reciprocity is dependency. Loyalty without endurance is convenience. And here's what hurts the most. Sometimes the woman you love, the woman you pictured a future with, will show you, clear as day, that she was only loyal to the version of you that benefited her. Not the man beneath the success, beneath the confidence, beneath the flow. Just the outcome. And the moment the outcome changes, so does her presence. But that's a blessing in disguise. Because the pain of watching someone leave when you're at your lowest is the exact pain that purifies your judgment. It breaks the fantasy. It crushes the pedestal. It forces you to stop romanticizing potential and start respecting patterns. And it teaches you one of the most powerful lessons a man can learn. The silence is sacred. The silence is where you rebuild. It's where you remember who you were before you started giving everything away for love, for attention, for validation. And the woman who can sit with you in that silence without needing to be entertained, reassured, or prioritized every moment, that's a woman who sees you. Not your shine, not your accolades, you. She doesn't panic when you're focused on your grind. She doesn't pull away when you're emotionally unavailable because you're fighting internal battles. She doesn't need to be center stage in your darkest hour. She knows that if she holds her position while you rebuild, she's not just earning a place in your comeback. She's becoming part of it. That kind of woman is rare. But you'll never find her if you keep giving yourself away too easily. If you keep handing your light to anyone who shows up with a pretty smile and surface-level loyalty. That's why the pullback is essential. It's not punishment. It's protection. It's filtration. You want to see who's real? Create distance. Stop explaining yourself. Go quiet. Focus on your evolution. Not to hurt her, to watch her, to understand who she becomes when the script changes. Some will crumble, some will run, some will try to shame you for changing the dynamic. Let them, because anyone who can't handle your growth was never meant to survive your purpose. Let's talk about emotional maturity. A woman who is truly invested in you, not just what you give her, will have the emotional maturity to understand the seasons of a man's life. She knows you won't always be playful, available, romantic. She knows there will be chapters of silence, solitude, and discomfort. And she doesn't take it personally. She doesn't accuse, she adapts, she supports. She becomes a safe space, not another storm. But most women don't have that capacity. Not because they're bad people, but because they've been conditioned to believe love equals constant emotional stimulation. When that stimulation stops, they confuse it with neglect. But you're not neglecting her. You're protecting yourself. You're healing. You're strategizing. You're building the man you need to be. And if she can't respect that, she doesn't deserve what comes after it. And that's the power of pulling back. It shows you who's in it for the long haul and who was just along for the ride. You won't need to ask. You won't need to guess. Her actions in your absence will tell you everything. Does she communicate with understanding? Or does she guilt-trip you into being who you used to be? Does she maintain the connection with grace? Or does she emotionally punish you for not feeding her constantly? Watch closely. This is about more than relationships. It's about alignment. It's about partnership. You don't just need someone who enjoys you. You need someone who can endure with you. Someone who's not intimidated by your silence, but who honors it. Someone who's not just attracted to your light, but who can navigate your shadows. So stop fearing the fallout. Stop fearing what happens when you stop giving. Because if your relationship can't survive your personal growth, your personal pain, or your temporary silence, it was never love. It was leverage. And once that leverage disappears, so will she. And that's exactly what you need to see. You need to know who's real when you're no longer performing, when you're no longer entertaining, when you're no longer pouring endlessly without receiving anything back. Because the woman who stays in that space, she's not chasing highs, she's choosing you. Daily, quietly, without conditions. Most men don't give themselves the chance to see that kind of loyalty because they're too afraid to stop performing, too afraid to be misunderstood. But growth requires distance. Clarity requires space. And you can't elevate while dragging someone who only loved the ground you used to stand on. The moment you begin to prioritize your inner world over external validation, you give yourself the opportunity to attract alignment instead of attachment. The woman who aligns with your purpose won't need you to dim your grind to make her feel secure. She'll match your energy. She'll hold the line. And she'll grow with you, not compete with your focus. That's why the pullback is powerful. It's not cold, it's calculated, it's self-honoring, and it's necessary if you want to filter for depth instead of decoration. Because real partnership is forged in the fire, not in the spotlight, and the fire will always come. Life will test you, pain will visit, confusion will cloud your mind, you'll have seasons where you can't give. Can she handle that? Can she stay grounded when the ground beneath you shakes? If not, let her walk. Let her leave. Let her find the surface-level love she's addicted to. And don't you dare chase her, because if she folded when you went internal, she was never built for your external elevation. And you will elevate, you will rebuild, you will grow stronger, wiser, more discerning. And the next time you let someone into your life, it won't be out of loneliness or chemistry. It'll be because she passed the test. She withstood the silence. She respected the space. She didn't beg for your spotlight. She prepared for your storm. That's the woman you build with. That's the one you trust. Because the truth is, The moment you stop being a provider of constant emotional highs is the moment you stop being valuable to the wrong woman. And that's not your loss. That's your liberation. So pull back, be still, watch closely, and never again invest in a woman who disappears when you stop dancing for her attention. Because the ones worth keeping, they don't need the music. They walk with you through the quiet.